started like this, but then doesn't give me opportunity to flip it over to the other side. You see what I mean?
Okay.
All right, guys. Today I got my good friend John McDowell here. He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's in Salina. He's leading his team over there, which is an extension of our team over here, which is an extension from our team in Brazil. And today he's over here because we have our Master Tosi in town, so we're doing a little bit of training. So I decided to do a quick interview with him. So let's turn into him. Hey John, what's up?
Nothing much, man.
Uh, got some questions for you here, brother. Tell me a little bit about your BJJ history. What's that for you?
When I started out in MMA, and I started, like I think a lot of people, I bought a bunch of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu videos, and I started training out of my basement with a bunch of guys, and then I ended up with an MMA team, kind of growing from there. And when that team broke off, I hit up Marcio and asked him, hey man, I'm going to be driving an hour and a half every night, so I'm real serious about coming to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So you're driving from where to where?
From Salina, Kansas to Wichita, Kansas. And he knew, I told him I already fight, but I really love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I wanted to learn it from a legitimate black belt. And so after doing, the research online, the only legitimate black belt in Kansas at that time was Marcio. And so as soon as I came down, I got welcomed with open arms, and man, that seems like a long time ago, but I've loved every minute of it.
So, how long have you been training Jiu-Jitsu?
If you count the time that I was training on my own, it'd be about 8 years.
Nice, nice. Why do you come this far to train Laselva MMA? What's the reason behind this?
If I think I would base it off my very first time making the trip. I was very honest with you, Marcio, before I even came here, and you were very honest about your expectations of me in making the trip. And so the first night that I walked in to train, I was blown away. Like, it was everything that I wanted, and it's been that way ever since, man. It's never changed. Every time I come here, it's been a blessing. I've left a better person. I left with more knowledge. I feel like I'm a better teacher. Yeah, if anything, growth, and that's the best.
So you became a teacher. You're teaching Jiu-Jitsu now.
Yes.
That's not all you do. So, who are you, John?
Let's see. I'm married to a wonderful, wonderful wife. So if she hears this, she knows that I said wonderful. I have 3 beautiful children. I'm in college. I'm an IT director full time, and I teach in the evenings 3 times a week. So, and I study jiu-jitsu on my days off. So that's what I do.
How many students you have there in your school today?
I think about 18.
So you went from wanting to learn jiu-jitsu.
Well, it goes a little bit deeper than that, because there were times when I didn't have mats to train on. There were times when I was training in my backyard. There was times when I was pulling out blankets and mattresses and putting them in my basement, and I had 15 guys training in my basement, and we were doing circuit training outside. And then there were times where we'd end up on baseball fields and soccer fields, and that was the only way that we could train. So it was to that extent and that extreme. Sometimes we didn't have anything to put down. We just rolled around in the grass. That was all we had.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you've been competing. You've been doing some cool stuff in jiu-jitsu. I actually saw you submitting a very larger than you are opponent. Pretty cool stuff. What do you think about competing?
I enjoy competing. I think that it demonstrates a lot to my students. Like, I have expectations for them to try and get out of their comfort zone, because I think that applies to life. Not everything in life is comfortable. There's plenty of situations in life that make you uncomfortable, that make you nervous. And when you compete, you deal with every bit of that. And I think it also holds me accountable because they get to see me, whether I win or lose, deal with my emotions, the stress, a loss, a victory. They get to watch all of that. And so it holds me accountable because I would only want them to react the exact same way that I do.
So if you have to say to your students, do you think they should compete?
I think it's good. I think that it does help them grow. I think if there was a way for them to deal with stress um, just on a regular day of training, I would be perfectly fine with them not competing. But I do believe that competition adds a layer of discomfort that is good and healthy. It's not a bad thing, right? Losing in jiu-jitsu is not losing. You can only ever win in jiu-jitsu.
So what do you see your future in jiu-jitsu and be, belonging in Toz's team? What's your vision?
Well, I'd like to see the academy that I'm with grow, right? I have a couple young people that I really like to see um, expand as people, you know what I mean, as they grow. And I'd like to see them grow within the art of jiu-jitsu. I've got plenty of adults that I know that if they're not on the mats with me, you know, that they'd be out doing something they shouldn't be. And that just them having that time on the mats and being surrounded by good people that practice jiu-jitsu keeps them in a state of mind that benefits their life, you know. And so, and I'd like to one day see my kids, you know, my youngest Cross, he's 2. I'd love to see him out there. My daughter's 6 and she does it with me. My 14-year-old, he loves jiu-jitsu. So it's a big deal in our family to be training jiu-jitsu. It's part of our life. I mean, I don't know if I could say I'm John McDowell without it at this point. It's a part of everything that I do.
Those are many years ahead still.
Amen.
We had a meeting today. We had our instructors meeting with Tozzy this morning. So I am pretty excited about the news that we shared today. What do you think about that? What do you think? How's that going to be for?
Um, I'm sure I share the same perspective. I am not against organization. I think that you can only ever benefit from things becoming organized. That brings everybody together. The expectations then stay the same for everybody. And so in this case, by having the same gis, by having the opportunity to train or to go out and get your training online also to add, you know what I mean, if they've come to a class, they need to reference something, that only adds to their growth, you know what I mean? And so the biggest piece that I took away from that meeting was how much Tazi would like us to become more organized and as one. And I think when you're organizing with the aspect and goal to become more team oriented, I don't think you can go wrong there. So I'm in full. I accept that. I think that's great. I think he's in this case. I think he's a visionary. I think he's seen something long term that we're all stepping into now. That will. I think it's just going to blow up.
I agree. I agree. All right, John. We're gonna wrap up over here. I want you to leave a message for your BJJ family.
Keep training. Do not quit. Don't base your growth off of your competition results. Enjoy the process, man. That's where the growth is. That's where it's fun. That's the life-changing aspect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, bro. We'll see you on the mats later on.
All right, brother.